Roger Ver, the chief pioneer of Bitcoin Cash adoption around the world, said he believes Saturday's electronic cash conference held at the Royal St. Kitts Hotel will promote the use of Bitcoin Cash in St. Kitts and Nevis and the wider Caribbean. He told SK Newsline after the conference that it is now up to the politicians to make Bitcoin Cash legal tender to provide more payment options to consumers.
What an amazing day here in the lovely island of St. Kitts. We heard not from one, but from two different jurisdictions about making Bitcoin Cash legal tender. We heard about entrepreneurs and business people who love the fact that they can use it in their businesses and don't have to deal with the banks. They don't have to wait in line at Western Union. It's faster, cheaper, and more reliable than the other options they have. And that's why we're seeing this spontaneous, natural adoption of it by businesses and individuals alike, because it works so incredibly well here in the Caribbean, spreading from St. Kitts to St. Martin to Antigua to Dominica and on and on and on. I think this conference really helped bring a bunch of people together and make them even more excited about Bitcoin Cash spreading here in the Caribbean. I think next we have to wait for the politicians to do their job and actually pass the legislation to officially make Bitcoin Cash legal tender here in St. Kitts. Not because it's being forced on anybody, but because people are naturally using it already anyhow, and they'll just be acknowledging what has already happened here in St. Kitts and in St. Martin and in Antigua and in more and more places across the Caribbean and the world. It seemed pretty clear that that's their intent, and so we'll see if they get over the finish line and how quickly they do. But like most politicians, I believe it once it happens.
At the conference on Saturday, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Dr. Terence Drew said that the government will be exploring the option of making Bitcoin Cash legal tender by March 2023, once all the necessary safeguards are guaranteed. Mr. Ver is hopeful this will be achieved and said efforts are being made to calm the fears of regulators.
Actually, just earlier today, I agreed to have a meeting coming soon with the central bank, and I'll help guide them to help better understand how useful Bitcoin Cash is, and I think they'll really be excited about once they fully understand its abilities. I invite the regulators to try sending a wire transfer and then try sending Bitcoin Cash, and if they're still pushing against Bitcoin Cash, it's because they're shareholders in the bank.
Meanwhile, Mr. Ver believes the growing use of Bitcoin Cash in St. Kitts and Nevis is encouraging.
So I was one of my favorite restaurants here in St. Kitts is Shawarma King, and I was there the other day and I was paid with Bitcoin Cash, of course, and I asked the girl, how often do people come here and pay with Bitcoin Cash? And she says, 5, 6, 7 times a day. So I think that's real usage, and I don't go there 5 or 6, 7 times a day. I go there a couple times a week. So there's clearly, and actually I have another good story. There's a Russian gentleman living here in St. Kitts. He was born Russian, that's not his fault, but now because of the world situation, all of his bank accounts, all of his credit cards, everything's been cut off, except for Bitcoin Cash, because it can't be cut off. And now he's living his entire life here in St. Kitts using Bitcoin Cash to pay for everything.
Bitcoin Cash is a cryptocurrency that is a fork of Bitcoin, created in 2017. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.